The Alabama Farmers Federation and the Alabama Farmers Cooperative proudly present Simply Southern with your hosts Jim Allen and Mary Johns.
Hello, thanks for joining us today for Simply Southern. I'm Mary Johns.
And I'm Jim Allen. Coming up on today's show, we'll meet a group of people in Gulf Shores who are fighting a debilitating disease. And by fighting, I mean lacing up their gloves and actually throwing punches.
One of the remedies of retarding or slowing down the process is physical exercise.
Most of the lumber used in construction comes from big sawmills. But today, we'll meet a man who custom cuts logs into boards right on his customer's property.
Every log is unique. You don't know what's inside until you open it up. For some reason, I just get a lot of enjoyment out of that.
Sidney Phelps of Bonnie Plants is out of the garden and in the kitchen this week, showing us how to make a delicious hamburger with the unique flavors of your garden.
But when we return, we'll find out how a nearly 100-year-old Alabama landmark was saved by a pipe organ.
What sustains us? Food? Family? Faith? Alabama farmers live those things every day. They conserve our resources, clothe our families, and fill our tables. They cultivate jobs for our communities and values for our future. Farmers grow it all right here in Alabama.
There's no such thing as downtime when you own a farm. This is your land. You tend it and try to get the most from it, no matter the weather or time of day. It's been that way for generations. And for generations, your local quality co-op store has been there for you, with a full range of agriculture supplies and services, from feed to fertilizer, seed to grain storage, and the right hardware for any application. You'll always find what you need, plus friendly, knowledgeable advice at your local quality co-op store. There's one near you.
There are so many things available with an internet connection these days, you hardly have to leave your house. But 90 years ago, streaming a movie in high def was the stuff of science fiction. In those days, folks put on their Sunday best and headed downtown, where seeing a show wasn't just entertainment, it was an experience. For nearly a century, Birmingham's Alabama Theater has been turning heads on 3rd Avenue. Born in the roaring 20s, this majestic movie palace is still a popular downtown attraction. But not so long ago, the old girl almost became a parking lot. You know, they say, it ain't over until the fat lady sings. Well, in this case, the singing of a gal named Big Bertha actually came to the old theater's rescue.
I tell people all the time that I think of the Mighty Wurlitzer as the engine that runs this block. It was really because of the Wurlitzer that the Alabama Theater was saved.
Financial difficulties had the theater facing possible demolition back in the 1980s. Fearing the loss of the theater's one-of-a-kind Wurlitzer pipe organ, the Alabama chapter of the American Theater Organ Society offered to purchase the instrument, hoping to move it to another venue.
The building was in bankruptcy. We knew we were going to lose it. And the bankruptcy attorney said, nope, can't just buy the organ. If you want the organ, you have to buy the building and its contents. And that little crazy group of organ people did that. And they created another nonprofit called Birmingham Landmarks, which owns and operates the theater on a daily basis.
Big Bertha is a highlight for visitors to the theater. Custom built for the Alabama Theater in 1927, this ain't your Sunday morning organ. When Bertha sings, you're gonna feel it.
It's a pipe organ. There are over 2,000 individual pipes. It creates a special experience, not only to your ears, because your ears can definitely hear the difference, but you can feel the difference inside your body because you've got a physical presence of air and pressure, sound pressure moving about the room.
The organ is a big part of many of the Alabama Theater's most popular events, like their annual holiday film series, where sellout crowds can watch many of their favorite Christmas classics in style.
A lot of these are movies that are on every cable channel, like every day during December. It's so meaningful to us and so thrilling that 2,000 people will come out every night singing along with the Mighty Wurlitzer. In some ways, there's nothing more thrilling than 2,000 people singing Jingle Bells, particularly when it gets to the ha ha ha.
But we don't want Bertha to completely steal the show. She's just one part of this majestic monument to the golden age of the silver screen. The grand staircases, dazzling chandeliers, ornate sculptures, statues, and carvings that complement the theater's Spanish Moorish architecture offer an experience few modern-day venues can match, making the Alabama Theater a favorite choice for everything from concerts to weddings. This past New Year's Eve, the Alabama celebrated its 90th birthday by returning a long-lost feature to her walls.
One of the things that we received for our 90th birthday was a brand new sign. When the Alabama was built in 1927, there were two signs. One that everybody is familiar with still on 3rd Avenue, and then a second one on 18th Street. It seems that what happened probably was the 18th Street one was sort of cannibalized for parts to repair the 3rd Avenue one, and then that one was just not put back up. Instead of having a ball drop at midnight on New Year's, we lit up the sign for the first time.
The success of the Alabama Theater has spread to its neighbors, with the Lyric, a 1914 vaudeville theater, recently completing a renovation, adding its own bright lights to Birmingham's increasingly happening downtown.
It's just really taken this whole theater district and area and revitalized everything. And we can trace everything back to that one event where this organ was saved. It's a stubborn little group.
Truly, every day, someone will call us or send a message and say, oh, my parents had their first date there, or I saw my first movie there when I was a kid. So this is a place that really matters to the people of Alabama.
The Alabama Theater opens its doors to the public for a variety of events throughout the year, and they even offer tours that include a serenade from Big Bertha herself. Find out more at alabamatheater.com.
The Christmas movies that they show around the holidays are always a lot of fun and sell out pretty early too. But in October, they do a special screening of the black and white Phantom of the Opera.
Yes, the original 1925 Lon Chaney movie, and they carry out a guest organist in a casket, and when they get him to the stage, he plays an original score throughout the movie.
That's just an experience you're not going to get at some other theater. Coming up next, when a debilitating disorder had these fighters on the ropes, they didn't throw in the towel. We'll find out more about rock-steady boxing when Simply Southern continues.
The versatile peanut. Meat of the earth, friend of the soil, tasty, nutritious, packed with protein. And Alabama peanut farmers nourish some very special things. Families, communities, and Alabama's economy. Peanuts. Good for you, good for Alabama.
The unexpected. The inevitable. The inconvenient. Life can be difficult. Make it a little easier. Alpha Insurance.
Support healthy food from local farmers by purchasing a Farming Feeds Alabama license plate. The tag funds education and promotion efforts, including Ag in the Classroom, agricultural scholarships, and youth programs. Get your Ag tag today.
A farmer has to live on faith. We do all we can do, but we can only control so much.
Alabama is the second largest poultry growing state in the nation, so we're trying our best to grow all the corn we can for that.
What we produce not only feeds and clothes all of the United States, but about half of what we make goes on to the world market.
We've been able to improve yields, have some things that can help us produce a better crop. I'm proud of the product we make and proud that I can say I'm an Alabama farmer.
It's estimated that more than 1 million people in the U.S. suffer from Parkinson's disease, a disorder of the nervous system that can cause tremors, slowed motor function, and a variety of cognitive difficulties. While there is no cure for Parkinson's, Research has shown that some intense forms of exercise have been successful in slowing the progression of this terrible illness. It was with this in mind that an Indiana attorney founded the Rock Steady Boxing program. And as Samantha Carpenter tells us, it's making a difference right here in Alabama.
Every year, over 60,000 people in America are diagnosed with Parkinson's disease. And then the wait begins. Facing a condition without a cure, many that suffer from the disease lose hope. But when Gary Ellis got the news, he decided to make it a fight.
When I was diagnosed about 2 years ago, one of the things I immediately did was go burn the internet down, looking at all the nuances and try to figure out what can I do about this. And there's no cure for Parkinson's, so one of the remedies of retarding or slowing down the process is physical exercise.
Gary's research led him to Rock Steady Boxing, a nationwide program designed to slow the progression of symptoms of those suffering from Parkinson's.
Rock Steady Boxing is a non-contact boxing exercise program that was developed to help strengthen and improve the quality of life for people with Parkinson's disease.
At Gary's urging, Chris Wheelis started Gulf Shore's Rock Steady Boxing class in July of 2017. Starting with only 3 or 4 members, today the class is up to more than 20 strong. Emphasizing exaggerated and rhythmic movement, the program focuses on building core strength, flexibility, and coordination.
We start out with a warm-up, calisthenics, we do voice activation drills. Parkinson's affects their voice, so we make them speak loud. Then we do basic warm-ups. Then we'll go into the fundamentals of boxing. We teach them boxer stance, jab, cross, hook. And then we'll actually do some punching and boxing drills on bags, focus mitts, etc. Then we'll do some strength training, core stability exercises with weights, medicine balls, anything that help facilitate that.
Having been put through a few of the exercises myself, Rock Steady Boxing isn't for the featherweights. These guys and gals get quite the workout, but one thing they all love...
hitting that bag.
99% of these people have never put on a boxing glove ever. So when they put it on the first time and they hit a bag, they're like, yes. They feel like they actively are fighting Parkinson's when they're sitting there hitting a bag.
Putting on these gloves is a hit, but getting in the ring with others who share in this fight is just as important for these up-and-comers.
We work off of each other and we help each other. So when you got 24 people with the same affliction, we're all a little bit different, and so we support each other.
It's one of the beautiful things of it is that some people have further along in their stages, and as opposed to somebody like me who's kind of on the beginning of the journey. So Rock Steady provides a forum or a network to really meet you wherever you are as far as your physical abilities and your cognitive abilities.
In the months that the program has been active in Gulf Shores, many members have experienced notable improvements in their strength and mobility. Some more advanced cases have even managed to walk without the aid of a walker or wheelchair. You won't find anyone in this room that's ready to throw in the towel. And it's that kind of fight that all of these contenders feed on.
Just because somebody may be wheelchair bound or may have struggles or may have limitations doesn't mean they can't benefit from Rock Steady Boxing. So that would be my single message is don't just accept the condition.
It has, changed me personally, spiritually. We take for granted getting up out of a chair, walking to the refrigerator. These guys have trouble doing that. They fall and break their arm on the way to their own kitchen. So it's really just given me a whole nother reason to do what I do, to help people. It's really given me just a whole nother purpose.
Give yourself a hand, say good job, Self.
Gulf Shores is one of several locations in Alabama that offers Rock Steady Boxing. Find out more online at rocksteadyboxing.org.
Parkinson's is really coming to the national spotlight with people like Muhammad Ali and Michael J. Fox having it.
And even recently, Neil Diamond has had to cancel tours and just retire from touring because of a Parkinson's diagnosis.
Well, maybe Rock Steady and other programs like that will help find a cure.
Absolutely.
Up next on Simply Southern, Have Saw, Will Travel.
One out of 4 Alabama residents have benefited from the Alabama Cooperative Extension System. Last year, Master Gardener Managed Gardens donated $150,000 worth of fruits and vegetables to food banks, and over 25,000 young people developed math, science, technology, and engineering skills through 4-H. Now what we want to know is, how can we help you?
Soybean is a very versatile product. We make crayons out of it.
A lot of the combines you see rolling through the fields have a lot of plastic side panels that are made from a soy product.
The soybeans that we grow on our farm mostly goes into chicken feed.
Soybean production in Alabama employs over 10,000 people.
We grow some of the best soybeans in the world.
We go the extra mile to make sure when our name is stamped on it, we know it's the best product we can produce.
Being a catfish farmer to me means carrying on a legacy that my father started about 35 years ago. It's a good way to take care of the land and provide a nutritious product for people all over the world. My name is Mary QUITMAN Holmes. My sister, my father, and I own this farm, Lawson Catfish Farm, in Perry County, Alabama.
2x4s, 4x4s, 6x6s, all common pieces of lumber you can find at your local home improvement store. But when you want something a little more unusual, or maybe sentimental, that's when you call someone like John Frank Deese. As Kevin Worthington tells us, he cuts the boards his customers need right where they need them.
Ever since he was a teenager, John Frank Deese has been fascinated by wood. He first got a chainsaw in his hand at 16 and has been cutting and selling firewood since then. But about 5 years ago, a much bigger saw captivated his attention.
A friend of mine bought a sawmill when they were building their barn, and I was helping him with it, and I just fell in love with it right away. I knew I had to get one.
He initially bought a manual sawmill, but when word got out about what he was doing, John Frank had to upgrade to a more advanced machine.
It just more work than I could keep up with. And then I became friends with a guy in Missouri and that had this machine. And I talked with him back and forth for about a year, and he finally got ready to sell it. And I made the trip up there and bought it. It's still a lot of hard work, but production is a little faster, and I can cut more accurate lumber with this machine because it's got a computer-ran program on it that you just preset where you want to cut, and it takes care of it for you.
John Frank says on a large scale, landowners can save thousands of dollars by having him set up his sawmill and cut trees on their property rather than buying wood at a lumber yard. But he says the real reward is when he can create a unique, sentimental treasure.
It was a simple job, but it was someone's grandfather or grandparents that had this white oak in their yard, and they wanted a mantle cut from it. And so I cut them a live edge fireplace mantle, and it turned out really, really nice, and it was just so unique. You can't go anywhere and get that. And plus it coming from their own property has so much sentimental value to it. Those are the coolest jobs, I think.
Although it started as something of a hobby, John Frank says he has as much sawmill work as he can handle right now. But even though the work has become lucrative, that's not the primary reason he keeps sawing up logs.
First and foremost, you've got to enjoy it. If you don't enjoy this type of work, then it's just not worth it. I mean, the main reason I do it is that I just get so much enjoyment out of it. I have had since day one. But it's not as bad when it's cool like it is now, but in the summertime it's really rough.
John Frank's full-time job is as a wildlife biologist with a seed company, but he has plans to begin expanding the sawmill business into a much larger enterprise.
I want to continue doing the portable sawmilling service, coming up to your property, setting up, doing that. But I want to cut my own material and kiln dry it and process that, and then you can order whatever you want from me, and it'll be a product that's unique that you can't get anywhere else. I want to sell rough cut lumber, kiln dried, specialty pieces, fireplace mantles, flooring, tongue groove flooring, shiplap siding. I want to have a shop set up where you can come to me. I want to have a website that you can shop online.
John Frank says it's hard to describe what he likes about running a sawmill, but you might say for him, every day is like Christmas.
It's different every time that you do it. I mean, every log is unique. You don't know what's inside until you open it up. And for some reason, I just get a lot of enjoyment out of that.
For Simply Southern, I'm Kevin Worthington.
While he cuts trees into boards, John Frank doesn't cut the trees down.
So as long as you cut them down, he'll cut them up.
That's exactly right. When Simply Southern continues, Sidney Phelps of Bonnie Plants has a fresh recipe for a new twist on an old favorite, the hamburger, using herbs from your garden.
There's nothing quite like sitting down to a home-cooked meal with fresh vegetables from the garden. With Bonnie Plants from your local quality co-op store, you can enjoy the freshest vegetables right from your own backyard. And no matter if you're a raised bed gardener, a rose gardener, or if you farm hundreds of acres, your quality co-op store has exactly what you need to get the most out of your plants. You'll always find what you need, plus friendly, knowledgeable advice at your local quality co-op store. There's one near you.
What we eat, what we wear. It all starts somewhere. And if it's good, it usually starts with a farmer. And that somewhere is right here in Alabama. In a field, in a barn, on a tractor. Right now, there's a farmer starting something good for all of us. And it all starts right here in Alabama.
FFA makes a positive difference in the lives of students by developing their potential for premier leadership, personal growth, and career success through agricultural education.
We're strengthening American agriculture and providing our members with the skills needed to build healthy local communities, a strong nation, and a sustainable world.
We are the next generation of agriculture.
It's our turn now.
Let's show the world what we can achieve together.
We are FFA.
For more Simply Southern, be sure to follow us on social media. And while you're online, visit our website, simplysouthern.tv.net. Simply Southern will continue in a moment.
We believe a plant should be more than a plant. This one is. It's all you need for your garden to succeed because it's a Bonnie plant. It represents hundreds of varieties of Bonnie's quality veggies and herbs. But more, it's from generations of Bonnie people who are passionate about sharing their love of gardening with you. Look for this little Bonnie plant and a whole family of plants like it in your garden center. Bonnie Plants, so you'll know how to grow.
Hey folks, Sidney Phelps here with Bonnie Plants. We're back in the kitchen and we want to talk about making a caprese style sandwich fresh from the garden. Most of the time you see this in a salad or you can see it as a dinner, but I'll show you a twist that you can use for a fresh sandwich right from the garden. So talk about our ingredients today. We've got one thinly sliced cucumber and I've got a 1/4 cup of balsamic vinegar and I'm going to pour it over here. So this is basically just going to get that soaking a little bit and we'll stir this in, let it work together. This is almost like the pickle chip for this style sandwich. So I'm just going to set that there for right now. Salt, black pepper, we've got basil, fresh basil to top it with. We've got a big boy style tomato, a good slicing tomato. We've got fresh mozzarella. And then what we did was we started with a basically pesto aioli. So we took 2 tablespoons of mayonnaise and 4 tablespoons of pesto, mixed it together and have it here. Now, we've already toasted our buns. What we did was just take regular extra virgin olive oil, drizzle it over the bread, and we threw that in the oven at 350 just to get a quick toast on there. So now we'll take the aioli, and we're just gonna take this, put it on the bread, smear it on there nice. And pesto works great in anything. It's one of my favorite things to do with basil, as we've done a couple of times on the show, but this sandwich is just great. So make sure you get an abundant amount on there. That'll give it that good flavor that you're looking for from the basil. Now, so what we did is we have a couple of different ways you can do this. You can do hamburgers, you can do turkey burgers, you can do grilled chicken even. So today we've got a couple of burgers here that we've cooked that we used some of the balsamic vinegar. So we took the balsamic, we drizzled 2 tablespoons each on the patty, and then on both sides we added a little bit of fresh salt, fresh ground black pepper, and we've had that grilled. So it's grilled and ready to go. We're just gonna take this, lay it on the base there. I'll set that to the side. And the next thing we wanna do is just get our tomato. We wanna get a good sliced tomato and get that fresh slice. So, get a good slice of tomato, put that on there, and we're gonna follow that up with some mozzarella. So, if you can find fresh mozzarella, that is what you want because you get a real nice, flavor from that. You want to put thick slices on this, kind of like what you would see in the restaurant. So, put that on top, and then we're going to go back here to our zucchini. So, with the zucchinis, you just want to get a couple of chips. Like I said, this is just basically the same thing as adding a pickle. We get some of that balsamic and drizzle it on there. And from there, we'll top with basil, fresh basil flakes. Put the top on there. And with that, you have got a caprese style burger ready to go. And very simple, very easy to make, a lot of flavor. Like I said, you can do this with grilled chicken, turkey. To find out more, check out bonnieplants.com or check out the app Homegrown with Bonnie Plants.
BonniePlants.com has additional recipes and is your source for gardening information. If you'd like to ask Sidney a question, drop him an email at simplysouthern@alafarm.com.
Thanks for joining us today, but we're slap out of time. Make plans now to be back with us next week as we visit a museum in Anniston that might make the folks at the Smithsonian jealous.
We'll also have the inspiring story of an Alabama teen whose life was saved by a stranger from halfway across the country. Thanks for watching Simply Southern today. I'm Mary Johns.
And I'm Jim Allen. We'll see you again next week.
Simply Southern is a production of the Alabama Farmers Cooperative and the Alabama Farmers Federation.